Hello there, lovely beings. It is a pleasure to have you back with us again. We are here on Sword and Key for Fragments of Loss Session 4 with Memories Forgotten. This is our Rangers of a Broken World series that we have been having here for the past few weeks. As our chat has already noted, happy Pride, everybody. And if you're not having a happy Pride, what's wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. Happy Pride to everybody who celebrates and can safely do so. And to those of you who are not able to do so out in the open, we wish you comfort, safety, and whatever shenanigans you happen to want to get up to, may you do so with outlaw behavior required in these very messy times. But carrying on from that, for those of you who are or are not aware, this is basically a one of a few different games that we tend to have on the channel that is currently having charity. A charity behind it. We are supporting Trans Lifeline during these times where, good lord, we have so many things said against specifically trans people and increasing just everything bad. Just choose a center of social existence and trans folks are being put through the ringer on it. It's more important than ever to try and support trans folks where you can. And also specifically in this game, your donations can actually cause more chaos for me. So if you want to help my players by giving them buffs and cause more problems for me, which I know as some of you who are viewers are probably small cats of chaos, I'm certain that you will like this. So please take a look at in our chat of all the different kinds of donations that are available. We even have it on our fancy overlay, what people already have and what they need. So if you want to give them more of all that stuff, you can. But for those of you who do not know who I am, and I am Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I use she, they pronouns, and I am the conductor. I am essentially the game master role for this game, and I am super excited to have our cast here. Sadly, Sebastian is not here this week as well, but thankfully, on a very happy note, we still have Abhishek here with us for one more session. So Abhishek is going to be providing what I'm certain will be. I am not the game master for next 5 sessions. I have transcended beyond gayness. Anyways. I'm going to let the cast introduce themselves real quick. I'm just going to call on them. I'm going to actually go counterclockwise this time. I'm going to start with our guests. So Abhishek, why don't you tell us who you're playing and who you are?
Hey everyone, my name is Abhishek Patange. I use he, him pronouns. I will be playing Azir, a wailing arcanist, who also uses he, him pronouns. He's fun, yeah. Has to deal with some problems, but he's fun.
Yes, Mammon. Now that I've remembered that Mammon exists, I'm suddenly even more happy about this session. Anyways, carrying on from one potential ball of chaos to a confirmed ball of chaos, Amber.
Hi, my name is Amber and I use she, they pronouns. And I will be playing Azura, who is a title navigator who also uses she, they pronouns.
And self-confirmed in-game big woman, I believe.
Lorge.
And moving on to another individual of large, bountiful amounts of happiness, joy, and just general good presence to be around, we have Mirm.
Oh, hi. What an entrance. Hi, everybody. My name is Mirm, she, they pronouns, and today I will be playing Wea, who uses they, them pronouns, and is a volcanic tracker. And it's just a big buff nerd. That's it.
And moving from one end of the spectrum of big buff nerd to the other end of the spectrum of tiny, slightly curmudgeonly, and having an interesting time throughout all of this is Adestia's player, Gena.
Hey, I'm Gena. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing, as said, Adestia, who is a windswept cavalier, and her giant elk friend, whose name I forgot suddenly. Sorry, Ransor. That's right. It is written right there. I just blanked out. Sorry, guys.
You know what? It happens sometimes. We have some moments of executive dysfunction, and sometimes we have moments of just long sustained executive dysfunction and or chaos and ADHD threads. Take a note, last session with 4 different threads you fucking ball of cats decided to go on, including the Roomba Gambit conversation, which I'm still going back and trying to process everything about that conversation. If you're watching this and you have no idea what is going on, please go look at our previous session Or the clip that Mare just had on hand. How do you have that just on hand? Damn it. I also appreciate the chat going, Rensor dislike this, Rensor will remember this. This has become a Telltale Games.
He probably
Except we are on par with the level of gay, because I discovered there's apparently some gay storylines in Telltale Games, which is
There are
great.
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's good things. Good things are being made in the world. And speaking of good things, I am super excited to bring for our fourth session, folks. We have already been at this for a few weeks. It's impressive. But I do want to give a warning for everyone that if you're new to watching our series, we do tend to go through, as a content warning, a lot of different topics related to environmental degradation, death, memories of loss, pain, and flashbacks to instances of war and conflict. So if these are things that you are not necessarily in a headspace to engage with at this time, please watch out for your own mental health and well-being. It is not worth sacrificing simply for a show, but we appreciate any support you can give us in the meantime. With all of that out of the way, we are going to get back into it. As last we left off, folks, y'all had managed to deal with essentially spectral ethereal shadow wraith covering a massive mechanical tortoise. And after dealing with this threat and gaining a new ally in the process while having another one just pass the fuck out, which you all proceeded to treat somewhat like a burlap sack that you kind of had to do a small side quest on. Poor Celadrinus. Poor Sebastian. Y'all took some time to try and process some of the flashes of memories that both Azir and Azura managed to gain glimpses of when they got closer to the now downed and tied tortoise-like entity. And this seemed to speak to past conflicts. We're talking like generations back, leading all the way to the last war. Like before the Cloudcomb Mountains just melted in the center of the continent. With those memories fresh in your mind, and also concerns about the next morning, having seen this tortoise-like creature heading in the direction of where you needed to go next, which was the Last Tooth Mountain, the very final remaining peak of the Cloudcomb Mountains. The group started to make their way towards that direction. You arrived in the foothills. There were a sort of forested boreal region nearby it, and one of you proceeded to walk right up to a lumbering creature composed entirely of rotted crops and soil that had encrusted together in what could best be described as a shambling mound. Having investigated this being a little bit further, you determined probably not something to mess with. Does not seem to be trying to engage with you directly, but its presence this far out away from croplands that did suggest something odd was happening. You all began to hear the very heavens themselves begin to scream as a windstorm began to pick up in the region and move presumably through the various holes that exist in Agrippina's iron statue rider form. And as part of that, a windstorm has fallen upon the forest, and that is where we find ourselves at the start of this session, moving into a crisis mode situation. So, assume the general JRPG like screen sort of blur happens as you transition into crisis mode. So, getting into it, folks, I need everyone in the party to make a tactics roll using any facet as and add up the total successes so we can form your advantage pool for this situation. So tactics will be a skill of some sort, and then you choose what facet you think your character would make use of to approach this problem. So let us see where everyone lands on things.
So we're just in
You are in a forest right now that is being like buffeted by gale and wind.
Yes. Okay.
You know that the mound is some distance away from you, and as I said previously, it did not currently, prior to the windstorm beginning to pick up, have any reason to be agitated or remotely interested in any of you because none of you had done anything to piss it off. That could change very quickly. So
I'm
bear that.
sure it's fine.
It's just a little wind. My hair will be blowing in the wind.
Looking fabulous.
Yeah.
A lot of
I'm gonna
wind,
get a
but,
camera.
So what do we have for rolls from the party right now?
3 successes.
One
That's 3.
success.
That's 4. What do we have, Azir?
Azir he rolled 3 successes, and I think because of strategist, he gets to contribute an additional success to it. So that's 4.
8. So that's 8. And Azura, what do you have?
What if you rolled 1 and an additional 1 on the die?
So you rolled 2 ones? Or
I
one
rolled
one?
a 5 and a 1.
Well, 5 is a success, so that gets you to 9
Right.
successes. Do
Right.
you want that 10th success?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So if you do want that 10th success, you will be the first one subject to a negative effect by the windstorm.
That sounds about right.
So that puts the party at 10 successes in the advantage pool. So, general quick refresh. You have 3 potential objectives you can advance a goal towards. Moment you get 5 successful advances towards a goal, that goal is achieved. Crisis mode is averted. You have destroy for 7. You need to find whatever is magically disturbing and agitating Agrippina in this moment to possibly be facilitating this windstorm. You have redirect. Potentially find a means to dampen or direct the storm elsewhere. Or outlast 5. Find shelter or seek aid from the wildlife around you to outlast the storm. Now, these numbers represent how many successes, whenever you choose to advance a goal, you need to either roll or add up to from taking from the pool in order to count that as advancing the goal. So 7, 6, and 5. And those in order are destroy, redirect, outlast. Got it? Okay. So with that being said,
What are the environmental notes you're giving us?
that is a good question. So let's go to Boreal. I will say 2 of these are available right off the bat. One of these would require a roll of some kind, which you could flavor as part of doing advantage, trying to generate advantage to get the 3rd one. So I will say you have available to you right now Bloom and Bark. So you have those 2 available. If you would like the 3rd note, that will require some form of investigation or attempting to detect what the particular affinity of the magical environment around you is at this current moment. But right now you have Bark and Bloom.
So we have 10 in our pool.
You have 10 advantage in your pool to make use of.
Okay. And outlast is 5 successes. Redirect is
is 6 and destroy is 7.
okay.
Destroy is the hardest because you would have to try and figure out what the hell is even agitating or causing it, and that requires the most investigation. Outlast is just you just need to bear the storm, and redirect is you are all magically inclined. You have to figure out how to redirect the storm elsewhere. But with that being the case, it is the party's turn. You may choose to go in any order as you wish. And again, as a quick reminder, you have 2 options. You can choose to either add to your advantage pool or advance a goal, and with either of those, you can choose to use skill rolls or spells.
If I want to use an ability, does that count as my turn?
No, abilities, unless it specifically specifies something like during your turn, you can use an action to do that because everyone gets an action. If it doesn't, then assume it's just basically free, so long as you meet the conditions of it.
Great. then I'd like to use my alert eye, which if you choose to scatter one at the beginning of a combat, the conductor will tell you what and where environmental hazards are.
Okay, that is a very good decision. So the biggest thing around this, and this is something that Adestia would have been able to warn you about before, but it's now becoming even more apparent, is that there are various kinds of wildlife here that do not take kindly to having their rest or their territory being disturbed. Often during a windstorm, they are most likely to become active and pose a threat to you directly. So that includes mountain lions and bears.
Wow.
My
Yes.
favorite.
So bear and bears. Oh my!
My.
But so bears are
Great.
probably the most immediate, and also another concern in the environment, I would say, is any sort of flora that has either irritating or
Mhm.
poisonous potentially properties could be jostled by things in the by things caused by the windstorm. So you have that information just for free, because pretty much for free, because Weya has chosen to spend, it was one scatter for that.
Yes, one scatter.
So you have one scatter, mark that. But you all know that in general, that is a big element of this area, is that if this storm causes any sort of agitation in the area, that is going to be a big risk for you coming up. So, who is choosing to go first?
I'd like to go first because I think I have an opportunity to create some sort of shelter away from the wind.
Okay, so what would you like to try and do first? Would you like to use skill roll, or do you want to use a spell?
I'd like to use a spell first.
Okay, so spell note from your own list and a spell note from the terrain. If you would like to use a spell note from somebody else's list, you have to use blur in order to do
Okay.
that.
So I don't believe I need to. For my my spell notes list, I'm going to be using shifting. And from the environment, I'm going to be using bark. So I'd like to physically take bark, like off trees, and to create a wall.
Ooh, that's a good one. Alrighty. And Azir has been very kind to remind me that in order to get an edge success previously, both of you agreed to something. Both Weya and
I
Azir agreed to
forgot.
something.
Oh,
So I'm going to say that this will, that during the next one, the next ability that targets actually Adestia kind of makes out on this one. Adestia will not be targeted by anything during the windstorm's first turn.
nice.
The three of you will be targeted. Adestia is too small.
We just
Cannot be affected.
we want to keep that face looking just with the one scar. We don't want more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
More
One's good
scars
enough.
equals more cool.
One's good enough.
Alrighty.
I think I would like to try to go next. I want to help us attempt to outlast this storm and do that by using a spell.
Okay. Before you finish telling me about how you'd like to do the spell, I'm gonna offer the scatter cost for Weya's suggestion. Is that is for advantage? Just a quick reminder: is that for the advantage pool or for to advancing a goal to outlast?
Advancing the goal to outlast.
Okay, so advancing to outlast.
Mhm.
I will say that is a stepping stone to solving the problem. I would put that at about 2 scatter in order to successfully do that.
I am happy to take that since the last spell that that I suggested was 5. So
Okay, so I'll say advancing goal players can take 6. Yeah, I think I still need to ask Leon about this at some point. So, in order to do the full outlast,
Yeah.
you need a total of 5 successes.
Mhm.
And you took a scatter cost that was of 2. So we'll say that goes to 2 of the successes. You will need 3 more from the pool in order to make that up to the full success that you
okay.
need. So if you're good with doing that,
Yeah, I
that's your
mean,
first advancement.
yeah, I would like to use 3 if that's okay with the rest of the party.
Down.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Great.
the pool is now down to 7. That is your first success. Wea, you're basically beginning to summon like a shelter to start keeping you safe from the main bulk of the wind coming towards you. It's not gonna block all of it out just yet, but
Mhm.
it's laid the foundation for more to build upon. So with that foundation, Azura, how would you like your spell to try and advance the goal of outlasting?
Yeah, so I would like to use personal spell note.
Okay.
Um actually, I would like to use the my assist ability spell
Ooh.
note and gain blur by using fleeting. And then from the environment using bloom, so creating fleeting bloom. And try to make it so that any flora that may get like pulled up from the ground or picked
Oh.
up in the gale would fly away from us to prevent us from gaining any negative effect.
That's a pretty big goat for that one.
She's daring.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Sounds like we're getting a little bit of audio feedback from somewhere. I don't know if it's me or someone else. So let's see. Gosh, I'm trying to ping out where exactly. I wonder where it's getting audio feedback from. Here, I'm gonna try muting real quick and then seeing if that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, okay. There we go. I'm going to say this is somewhere between a stepping stone to solving the problem and a solution to a small problem, a large step towards a
Okay.
large problem. I'll say this would probably be in the range of 4 scatter for this.
Okay.
So it would take, if you're willing to accept that scatter and take 1 from the pool, that would put you at the 5 you need in order to advance the goal.
I will agree to that. If everybody's okay with me taking the one.
I also think I figured out what might have been causing that echo. Because I have sound. Yes, I had the stream up, so I
Mhm.
folks cannot see, but in our private chat, people are calling me out for having the stream up, and I forgot to mute the tab with the stream up. Damn it!
I was trying so hard to find the tab that I had in my Windows with the stream up where I hadn't muted it. It's a problem that I have, so I totally understand.
Okay, so with taking that one from the advantage pool, so that brings you the pool down to a 6, but that is 2 advancements towards the goal, so you have 2 of 5 completed to outlast this storm. Azir or Adestia, which one of you would like to go next?
Dusty is holding to see what Azir is doing, considering this is much more relevant to him than to her.
Yeah, I think Azir is definitely not a fan of this giant windstorm happening. It's like more so the fact that like, hey, it's affecting Agrippina in like such a way. I think he's gonna try and at least almost instinctively going to try and at least start to figure out why this is happening and try to stop us. So he will be trying to advance the destroy option.
Oh, the destroy option.
He's gonna
That
try
makes
and
sense.
advance it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's a different. He's motivated by something very different than everyone else is at this
Oh
time
yeah.
because you do not have to all agree on the same thing to do. Technically, it is most strategical to focus on the thing, but that's not necessarily what your characters would do. So that would be you need to get to a 7 in order to destroy whatever you feel, to sense out whatever is causing distress to Agrippina in this moment. So, if that is the case, are you going to try and do this with magic or with skills?
I'm gonna try and let's see. There is one. I think there's a couple ways that I could probably do this. I think I'm gonna try and do And I'm gonna try to do it with skills. So
Okay.
I will roll. I'm gonna argue understanding for my facets,
I would
and
agree with
yeah,
that.
and I think for my skill, I'm gonna say either focus or spirits to see if anything. Both can be either go different ways, but most likely focus to see if there's anything physical in
I
here.
would
But
say I'll put it this way. Focus will let you know what physically in the environment is affecting Agrippina. Spirits will let you know from a magical level what is affecting Agrippina. That will it will determine what information I give you.
mm,
Which one would you like?
I think I'll go spirits.
Okay, spirits. So if that is the case, so put in your dice pool will be whatever your dice and facet are, one for the skill, and then if you're using anything from your key, add an additional 2 dice to that. But if you are not, then just roll them dice.
Yeah. I want to argue using my one of my keys, duty.
I think that's appropriate. This is one of those like, so my god's not having a good
Yeah.
time
I
kind
kind
of
of need to like
moments.
help. I need to help.
Help.
So yeah, I think that gets me to, if my math is correct, I believe 6 dice. So yeah,
Yes. So let's see how many successes you can get out of that.
that's okay. Not bad, not bad. I got 2 6s, a couple of 4s. I'm not gonna remember
Okay.
those, and a 1 and a 2.
Okay, so you could get 3 if you take that edge success. The edge success will be, I will say that the edge success is that you will need to spend an additional die from the advantage pool beyond what you already need to do.
Okay.
So you have 2 successes already. If you take the one,
Yeah.
you'll be at 3, and to destroy, you need to reach 7. So right now, you would need to take 4 from the pool, and it would bring you down to 2.
Okay.
If you take the edge success, it would bring the pool down to 1. It's a gamble, but you do know your comrades are also focusing on something else,
Yeah.
and that some of them could also refill the advantage pool, and you can also work to refill the advantage pool next as well.
That's true. Yeah. Um, I think he'll take it. Mainly because
Okay.
like he's dedicated to Agrippa and he does wants to do whatever he can. So
Okay.
yeah.
Magically, you feel the connection to your deity, to the deolith that you have sworn, who has gifted you with their blessing, and you have this sensation of being near them, of like of having that out of consciousness feeling again, and it's a very disorienting one. A lot of the things associated with Agrippina, you've come to sort of deal with the fact that they're very out of body, very uncomfortable, but that's just kind of Agrippina's vibe, is just, it's like having the most goth patron kind of anyone. You'll be mildly unsettled on all interactions, but they're never necessarily malicious. The main thing that you are having happen is that you are seeing what appears to be almost like a panther-like entity with tentacles shrouding around it, very similar to what you saw happening with the tortoise. It does not appear to be attacking or doing anything to the statue. It actually seems to almost be resting at the base of the statue, almost like it's pleading. But Agrippina is not is almost being harmed by its presence. And with having the title Judges of the Dead, there is this distinct sensation that something related to the dead is being desecrated with it being here. There is
Okay.
something vehemently, like almost violent in a spiritual sense, by it being there near Agrippina. And it might be less that whatever this kind of metallic animal ethereal creature is, it is in a way sort of a violation of how the dead and the living can be separated more peacefully. This thing being here it's not necessarily here by choice. Also, yes, Amber, you did sign up to fight Displacer Beast, so good luck. So you have this awareness and that Agrippina is not in immediate danger, but the kind of lashing out with the windstorm may be partially caused by the fact that something is in their presence that is causing great harm.
Okay.
So you have advanced destroy and having a sense of like you have to either remove that or deal with the storm as quickly as possible in order to get up there and remove that issue. Because
Okay.
so long as that or anything else that's causing a disruption of life here in the forest is present, Agrippina is in pain.
Okay.
So that is Azir's turn. Adestia, you're up.
Could I try to replenish our tactics pool?
Yes, you can try and add to the advantage pool
Okay.
using either skill roll or spell. Which would you like to try and do?
I'm going to try, what I want to do is I want to try and understand, like, like the direction, like the directionality of this windstorm,
Ah, got you.
like the way it's moving and like that sort of thing. I want to like try and understand like the nature of the storm itself from like a physical perspective.
I like that. All right, roll using whatever facet you feel is most appropriate. Add a
Feel like
die if you feel there's a skill that works for this.
understanding. I feel like my survival is
I
good here.
I think that is appropriate. And if you have something related to your key that you feel fits here, add the 2 dice from that.
I don't think so.
Okay, so roll the dice pool and let's see where you are at with how many successes you can add to the advantage pool from that.
I'm not very confident in this. That's 2.
Okay, so the pool has moved up from the 1 that it was at to 3 because the advantage that you add is equal to the successes on the roll.
Yep, 2 5s and 2 3s.
2 5s and 2 3s. Okay, so that is 2 successes. So the pool is back up to 3. So everyone has taken their turns.
Mm-hmm.
Now it comes to the windstorm's turn. So the first ability that it is going to make use of is called Growing Unrest. If you want to keep this from happening, you will need to spend 2 from the advantage pool to prevent this. This will begin to raise various stinging nettles in the area that will begin to agitate all of the local wildlife. Are you willing to accept this as a consequence? Or are you willing to give up 2 from the pool that technically Adestia just got you? You can use those to prevent it from happening.
I would like to default a decision to Adestia, as she is familiar with this sort of terrain. And I think Azura would be Adestia, what do we do?
You see, Adestia is not concerned with any of these things. So I don't know that she has a very good sense of like what everybody else can manage. She's like, I can do this just fine. She might not be the best sense of what to do. She's like, don't worry about it. Some upset wildlife is total. We can, don't worry.
Then
Is so good at her job.
Azura is this is not her ship, so she is here to obey the forest captain's orders, so she believes that we can handle it.
I just have a quick question.
Yes.
If we let this happen, does that mean the wildlife get their own turn?
No.
Okay.
The wildlife becoming unrest affects something that the windstorm can do.
Got it.
Azir, what do you think?
See, Azir doesn't really care about the animals. He's just like, hey, Agrippina, you're in danger. I'm gonna help. I don't care about these animals.
I don't give
do
a
not
fuck
care.
about them animals.
I do not care. Literally,
See
they
that
can get stung
moose?
for all I
You
care.
see that moose over there? Hey, you moose! Fuck you!
Fuck you. No, I'm half expecting Angela to just have the windstorm pick up a moose and just barrel it toward my face now.
Don't give me ideas. Don't give me ideas. I am now genuinely thinking about it. Look, my favorite thing about being a GM is that no matter what I think of, the players will create something either far more interesting or far more destructive to themselves. But so, are folks okay letting that go?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is that. It will also now use its second ability, which I believe has to target the first two from the original edge success first. So that would be Weya and Azir, actually. Amber's character Azura will get the next one.
Oh, perfect. Excellent.
This is called Branch Impact. This will take 3 from the advantage pool in order to stop it. Tree branches will begin to bend and snap from various trees in the forest. Both of you will suffer 2 scatter if you do not stop this.
Azira's okay with taking the hit, honestly.
I'm also okay with taking the hit.
Okay, then you lose nothing from your advantage pool. Adestia and Azura, you just watch as straight up, like you hear the creaking, and they snap back, and you just see Weya and Azir get launched a few feet back as you straight up get hit by tree branches.
I'd like to use my crisis specialty.
Ooh.
Because it's endurance, so when I take a hit in a crisis, I can make a focus roll and clear 1 scatter per success. So how many scatter did I take for that? 2? Okay.
That would have been
Just
2.
mark that really fast.
Yeah. That is a very helpful ability to have when scatter just fucking comes at you.
I like going in lava tunnels, so I have to know how to do this.
Why?
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do.
The same intonation of the kid on the news going, "I like turtles."
I like turtles. I'm not good at cave turtles where I could die, but it's okay because I like it. Anyways,
That's a parasol. I love your comment, by the way. Fuck them kids me, but it's a 0
Oh,
with fuck them
that's me.
wildlife. Thank you.
Exactly.
Bless you for that.
so for this, I only get to roll 1, correct? Because my focus, and it's only the first season.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put a key on it.
I would say no.
Okay. Let's see if anything happens.
Let's see.
It did. It's a 5.
That's a success. Okay.
I get to take away scatter. Wow.
There you go.
Did
Did
it.
it.
Just
Did it.
I'm just imagining another fucking haka just happening. You just fucking like stare at the wind, like, come at me.
Right now. You and me. Right now. You know? It's okay.
Like, slap
Actually,
each
wait, I take it back. It's not haka. It's just fucking Macho Man Randy Savage just being like,
Oh,
we got
yeah.
3 minutes here, buddy. You and me.
You and me right now. You know? It's okay. It's okay. Oh, yeah.
So with that loving moment happening, I love my players so much. It is now back to the group's turn. So again, you have 3 in the advantage pool, 2 advanced on the goal of Outlast, and 1 advanced on Destroy. Somebody in the party, what are you doing for your turn?
So seeing that a bunch of nettles just slammed in some animals and they're all pissed now, and also 2 tree branches hit 2 of my friends, I am feeling like what I did on my last turn didn't work. Like, that's how I'm feeling as a character. Is like, okay, I tried a tactic. Apparently that's not what we're about right now. So seeing that Azir is trying a different tactic, and not seeing that anything bad happened from that, I am going to shift my focus from Outlast to Destroy.
Okay.
And I think that she would try to use her knowledge of nautical winds to see if this is any sort of relation to what's happening here and now, and try to
I like that.
apply her nautical skills to this windstorm.
I like that. There is at least enough overlap that you would be able, that I think it's appropriate to try and use that skill set. So I assume this is skill related.
Yes,
All right, and this is for advancing destroy.
correct.
Okay. So let's sort that out. So you pick your facet.
I believe
you-
she would try adaptability.
Okay, so adaptability.
Yes.
If you feel there's a skill that's appropriate here, which I think you
Survival
probably do,
nautical.
survival nautical.
Yep.
And then if there's anything related to your key,
So I would like to argue that her key foolishness
yes,
is in
I'm
effect
putting
here.
foolishness is in effect here. This is what we refer to as a choice.
Sure is. Her math was not mathing with the previous turn. So you know what? Sometimes we make bad tactical moves.
It's the math face memes with all the math going by, except it's all drawn in like crayon by little kids.
Mm-hmm. All right, so
All right.
she got 3 successes, no edge successes.
Okay. Unfortunately, even with the 3 that's in the pool, you would not be able to reach the number of successes you need in order to destroy. This is very much a case of like, it's less that your skill set doesn't apply here in the same way. It's more that you just watched your allies just get fucking. One of them nothing happened. The other got launched a fair bit, and you in the moment where you're trying to focus and figure things out, you watch as another tree branch starts to snap back in your direction. You avoid it. There's too much going on right now for you to be able to do anything.
Understandable.
So, no success with that. No goal is advanced. There are still 3 advantage in the pool. Who is taking their next turn?
I can. I think I'm not really paying attention. I just kind of want to make a place that's safe for everybody. So I'd like to add to the advantage pool by making the like bark wall that I've made stronger.
Do you want to do this magically, or are you trying to do this with a skill?
If I do it with a skill, am I allowed to use keynotes? Or do I have to use magic?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Then
it is
I'd
specifically the skill rolls that allow you to use keynotes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Then
You're
I would
good.
like to use the skill.
Okay.
I would like to use adaptability.
Okay, so adaptability for your facet. The skill.
Yes.
What is the skill you would like to use? If you feel there's
I'd
a skill relevant here.
survival.
I would say survival works in this situation.
Incredible.
This is a time you are all having right now.
Woo. And then I'd like to use a signature spell note. Which
That would be for casting a spell.
that would be for casting a spell.
You were trying to signature spell notes are specifically for the casting of magic or spells.
Okay.
The key is to unlock things, to unlock your personal spell notes and for skill rolls.
Great.
You use your skills to build up getting enough understanding of your own things you need to work on
Okay.
in order to unlock that magic. So this would be
Then-
casting a spell.
If that's okay, I would like to cast a spell.
Okay?
Still using adaptability. I would like to use the spell notes. Mine. I'd like to use flower for my spell notes. Or would I
Mine
use
flower?
my signature spell note for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Use one of your personal and then one from the terrain.
Great. My signature spell note that I would like to use is strong, and then I would like to
Okay.
reuse bark to strengthen the bark
Oh,
itself.
so you're trying to effectively create almost like a bark shield
Yeah.
around the foundation that's awesome.
Yeah.
I would say this would normally put you closer to 4 scatter, but because you already have the foundation you're building on, I'll say it's a stepping stone to solving the problem. I'd put this at 2 scatter.
2 scatter?
Yes, if you're
Okay.
looking to outlast, if that's the goal to make it stronger to outlast, or no, you're trying to do the advantage pool, right? So
Yeah,
this
I'm
would
trying to
give
add to
you-
the advantage pool.
Yeah, so doing this, the 2 scatter, that adds 2 more to the pool, so the pool would now be at 5 advantage.
Yep. I'd like to do
Other
that.
people can use. All right.
I'd like
That is Wei's turn. You just watch as an entire just wrapping of pure bark, even from some of the trees that have lashed out at your party members, just managed to just wrap around, just peel apart. It's almost like someone, if you've ever gone by trees and just like stripped little bits off for different kinds of like crafting projects and stuff. It's like the wind suddenly redirects, picks up, and starts forming a shield around you with what's already been established. Nice job, Waya. All right, who's up next? Adestia or Azir?
I'm gonna defer to Adestia in this situation.
Could I try and understand what other spell notes we have at our disposal here?
Yes, you could. Are you
Um,
trying to do that for advancing a goal or to add to the advantage pool?
how
'Cause
much
right now
is in
the
our
pool is
advantage pool
5.
again? 5?
It's 5.
Hmm. Sure, let's advance the goal. Let's do that.
Okay, so this is going to go towards to out I'd say to outlast, because understanding more of the terrain, I would say, is a
Mhm.
benefit to outlasting, unless you were trying to argue something else.
No, then let's just go to the then I guess to add to the tactics pool, because Adestia is taking Azir's lead on how best to approach this.
Okay, so this will be to the advantage pool. Okay, so and this is using a skill, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so pick your facet, pick a skill if that you find is relevant, and then add 2 dice if you feel some aspect of your key is relevant to this, and then roll them dice and let's see how much you can add to the pool.
I'm going to say that Adestia kind of, like we have the winds going in it, like, around us right now. So we're in like a calmer part. I think Adestia is going to try and like exit that little circle to stand in the windstorm to try and like hear what's going on. If that makes sense?
Yes, you have a natural attunement to a boreal region. You can actually sense things about the forest more than anyone else can.
Okay. I'm going to I'm gonna say this is another understanding roll.
Okay.
I'm using her survival, and I think I'm going to use the part of my key resilience because she has to stand in this windstorm and try and maintain her balance while doing so.
Yes, I think that's a perfect key emotive to make use of right now.
So while she's got her eyes closed, she's gonna try and sort of sway into the wind without letting it knock her over. Try and understand like what else is available here to everybody.
Alrighty, I'll start looking at the spell notes and seeing what you're able to come up with.
Watch me roll real bad, guys. Okay, not bad. That is 3 successes and a bunch of 4s. Don't count.
3 successes.
Yes.
And this was for the advantage pool, so that is 3
Yes.
added to the advantage pool. So now you have a total of 8 in the pool. I am going to say, let's go with this. This is appropriate for it. Your third terrain spell note is root. Root. Awesome. You feel like there are a bunch of things here that are threatening to like be pulled up and away because of the windstorm, but it's hard to say, like, for your 3 companions watching Adestia, whether it's Adestia commands the roots themselves or the roots actually spring up around her and like anchor her in place, but she is not moving. She is undeterred by any of the wind. The hair, I'm sure, if it's not in a braid, is currently flying everywhere, but that is Adestia's turn. The pool is back up to 8. Azir, what are you trying to do?
So I think, given what he's sort of determined about what exactly what in general is sort of causing this windstorm and this distress from Agrippina, I think he's going to try and take steps to figure out where this entity is that's causing this distress, to at least, if not get to it, at least get to it first. So let's see if they can find it, and then from there he can figure out what to deal with it. But he needs to find out where it is first. So
Okay.
I think I'm going to use a spell for that.
Okay. And this is, for clarification, pool or goal?
Uh, I would say this would be advancing a goal. I like,
Okay.
yeah,
Continuing on destroy?
yeah.
Okay.
I am going to use spell note, seeing for my personal spell note,
Ooh,
and
I
I'm
like it.
actually going to use the new spell root that we got, root.
Oh, see the root of the I I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good combo. I love this magic system. There's so much bullshit you can get away with how you create stuff. It's great. So, with that being the case, I would say this would be a very significant sense of what's
Cost.
happening.
Okay.
Yeah, this is probably in the large step towards a large problem category,
Okay.
which would put you at a cost of 5 scatter to do this.
Okay.
It is a lot, but it would mean
But
you only need to spend 2 from the pool to advance
it's the
destroy.
goal.
Yep.
I'll do it.
Okay. Now, would you like me to give us, actually, I'll put it this way. Tell me what everyone sees for your magic as you start to peer into it, and I'll tell you what you see. What do they see like happening with your magic? And then I'll tell you what's happening internally.
I think for at least for this spell in particular, what the others would see in terms of Azir's magic is, I think funnily enough, the sort of windstorm that's around, that's sort of coiling and roiling around everyone, would sort of weirdly, if Azir's sort of like standing here, the winds would sort of weirdly form a smallish vortex around him. Um, it would be like this. It's almost like this whole concentrated mass of wind just rolling around Azir, but he's not. He's standing stock still. He's not moving, and it almost looks like Azir is just simply peering into the ground. Where those when you're where the roots itself were, had sort of come up earlier that you mentioned. It's almost like essentially he's looking straight at the roots, and it's almost like he's like looking through them, looking for what exactly he's looking for. It's not exactly a big magical effect. It's just almost an intense sort of gaze followed by this flurry of wind around him. It's not exactly a yeah.
I will add one element to that I think you would appreciate. The three of you, if you at all notice Azir throughout all of this, his shadow is gone throughout the process of this. The shadow seems to move and just sink into the ground itself. It's almost like internally you hear a voice going, "Hey, everyone didn't agree to this!" And just sort of you hear Mammon being forced through in the shadow because that's Mammon's kind of only home when he's with you. But for you, what you're seeing, it's almost like you're staring into a pool of inky black, like water. And you see the roots just like beginning to dig down. And it's a very like Dante's Inferno kind of effect where a lot of what happened with Dante's Inferno is that like you're kind of going towards the center, and then once you reach the center you flip back up. You start like sinking down, and then the world kind of rights itself up. You are getting flashbacks in the midst of all this back to those moments of war that you saw before. And you realize that the panther-like being that is near Agrippina, all of the shroud that's around it is once again, it is almost like they are the coalesced memories of people who have passed away or gone through conflicts and war. There is this strong sense of angst, of misery, and throughout all of it, a sense of longing and confusion for somebody. It is this turmoil that is causing horrors in a way exist as a perpetual reminder of past harms, they normally exist on their own without attachment to anything per se, because the emotions and memories themselves are already what are attaching them. It's almost like something connected to what the automata is feeling, which is already a very frightening thought because they don't normally have the strongest sense of consciousness that extends to full emotions. It's almost like whatever they're feeling is this, it's like a bubbling pool of angst and loss and sorrow that is anchoring the horror, whatever these emotions are that are akin to a horror, to the panther being. And it's that turmoil that's causing Agrippina pain and causing the wind to lash out the way that it is right now.
Okay.
So essentially, there is a form of sorrow, of mobile sorrow on this automata that is actively harming Agrippina by being a, it's like the dead aren't being allowed to rest and are in perpetual state of sorrow. It's not pleasant. So I must go use the bathroom very quickly, folks. Vamp. I will be right back. Be right back.
I don't like windstorms anymore.
I don't like
That's what I
windstorms.
just. I mean, I never really liked him in the first place.
I'm sure
but
it's fine. Don't
Yeah, it'll
worry.
be fine. Yeah.
I'm sure this is nothing. I really did think like, oh gee, a windstorm, right? That's just like sailing.
No. No.
Azura is gonna feel so defeated after this
Aw.
combat, having
God.
in her own mind failing twice in
Oh
a row.
no.
No, I
It's
mean,
gonna be
yeah.
bad feelings.
I can only imagine what's gonna happen because newsflash, Azir's at 7 scatter right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
I
at
should fix that.
2-4. I'm at 6 scatter, so
Yeah.
So I
Barely.
used my last key, so I actually got rid of all my scatter.
Oh nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice! Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
big
So
move. Where-
Where are we at? You're at 7. Where are you at? Where?
6.
6? All right,
Yeah.
I gotta fix that, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, I
sorry.
can heal up 2 using Mammon, but that will still put me at 5. So it's not great, but
Not
it's better than
great.
7.
I just want to be hit again because I can just keep using endurance every time that I get hit.
Yeah.
That's true.
So even though it's only 1 right now.
where it's like, I want you to hit me as hard as
Hit
you
me!
can.
They hit me. Stop
Yeah.
trying to hit me and hit me.
I also have endurance, funny enough, but it's
Oh
funny
my
because
gosh.
I have not acquired any scatter at any point, so it's not.
Weird.
Also, never been hit because for some reason.
For some reason. I think it's Rensor. I think that's just what's been happening. A
Yeah.
protection.
The
A
magic
buddy.
of friendship.
Where the hell is my?
Return.
Welcome
Alright.
back.
So where were we? Ah, yes, the windstorm's turn.
Yes.
I
Yes.
guess. We don't have to.
We don't have to, but y'all
Have
chose
to.
not to deal with the growing unrest.
Fine.
Yay.
So
We're following a Destia. A Destia.
Growing
Yes.
unrest.
Hey, technically, we're
Growing
following
unrest.
Azir because Destiny's
We're following a Destia who's following a Zir.
passing the buck, passing the buck.
Yeah.
Passing the ransom.
There is a literal yes. There's a literal buck.
I like that one.
Don't involve him in this. He had nothing to do
Ransor
with
did
this.
not like that. Ransor does not agree with
Ooh.
this.
I
Ransor
should be
will
casting
remember this.
spells. Actually,
Its first ability is going to be Nature's Fury. This will require 5 to be taken from the advantage pool to prevent it. Local wildlife will begin to rampage from the agitation caused by the nettles. Each ranger must choose between gaining 5 scatter or taking 2 hits. This can only be done if growing unrest has been done on a previous turn.
How many do we have in the pool?
6, I think. Yeah.
Of 6.
It would take
So you would, it
5
would
of
take
them.
5 to prevent this.
But I
Okay.
think
But
it's
as a
good
note-
investment.
But as a note, to give you a sense of how bad the hits can get, when you take a hit, you choose from one of the hit consequences. Gain 5 scatter, you can no longer use ally abilities. You lose your next action. Your next crisis action is inevitable. Lose access to your highest facet. And if you use up all of those, the last one is you are removed from the scene entirely.
The windstorm literally carries your
Kinda, yeah, but
You get twisted
actually in
away.
this case it would be more like the bears and the mountain lions make off with your bodies.
Oh, no.
But let's. I think we should use them.
I agree.
Great one.
I'm in agreement.
I
This
feel
is the
like
one.
this is a great use of our pool.
It probably is.
Yes.
I say, as you know, this would be real easy. Just ignore me. I'm in great health, so you should ignore anything I ever say.
Destia's like, I can take 2 hits, 5 scatter, pish posh.
I would take no scatter. I cannot be forced to take scatter while we're in a forest.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that's part of the reason why
can't-
Destia doesn't give a fuck.
I don't give a-
Zura, I think we should stop
Don't-
following Adestia.
Yes, don't listen.
Yeah.
Don't listen.
No,
Don't
I don't think we
listen.
should follow Dusty anymore.
She's
Yeah,
giving you bad
Azir?
advice because nothing affects her.
Azir, I think we should talk.
as noted by Mare in chat, Adestia is a boss ass bitch.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
don't
Of
listen
course.
to her. Like above table, she's been giving you bad advice.
So
We still believe in trickle down economics. We thought that we were gonna get some good stuff from Adestia. We did not.
So on that note, what is the party deciding? What is your final decision as a group?
Spend it.
Use the
Spend
Spend
it.
it.
Spending the
Spend it,
Spend it.
folks.
Okay, you will not deal with nature's fury.
No.
Basically, the
another
magic that
2
has been
turns.
Technically, yes, because
Yes.
growing unrest has to happen first.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The nettle storm has to effectively, every time growing unrest happens, it's like, imagine a shitload of bears and mountain lions just had a bunch of stinging nettles go into their face. They're pissed off. But there is still one other thing that has to happen,
Oh God.
Okay.
which
It's
is
gonna happen to Azura. So
technically
sorry.
yes.
Oh.
Oh no.
So
Fuck.
this is going to be crashing vegetation. You do not have enough advantage pool in order to deal with this.
Yeah.
Cute.
Various trees will now crash down the terrain and cause obstructions. So now this is straight up a whole section of the forest is being leveled by the storm. Any rolls you make to outlast will increase in difficulty by 1 until the end of your next turn, Azura. Everyone else is fine with it. You specifically trying to outlast, you are basically almost being trapped and having to dodge a bunch of trees in the midst of all of this.
And so you said 1 less.
Basically, it means that instead of 5 to
Mhm.
get an advancement, it has to be 6.
Got it.
There you go, folks. That was its turn. Now you have a sense of how bad it can get. I say, giggling to myself with
Yeah.
happiness, like a small gremlin. On that note, it is the party's turn. Once again, you have 2 in advancement towards Outlast. 2, I believe 1, was it 1 to destroy? I think so far only, because the no, you have
two, I think.
You have 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 in destroy and 2 in Outlast. Who's doing what?
Could I real quick, since I am doing real chill right now actually, and I've got a sense of how everything is. Could I cast a spell? I'm gonna cast a spell. I'm gonna say it's Restoring Bloom, using one of our terrain notes in my personal spell note. Restoring. And I would like to try to mitigate some of the scatter on our party.
I like that.
Could I take an amount of could I take 3 scatter from each Wea and Azir? I'm willing to just take the scatter for it.
That's true.
Equivalent.
Yeah, that would be 6 scatter to remove it from them. But you also have an extended scatter pool
Yes,
while in the forest.
I have a massive. I could take up to 12 scatter while we're in a forest.
Jesus.
This is why she wants to be in a forest. In a
Fair
forest,
enough.
she is really strong.
Love
So
it.
I think that would, if I cast that, it would cut both of their current scatter in half.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah,
So-
I will say it would. This is a large step towards a large problem, which is just this overall storm. I would say, do you want this to go towards advancing a goal or towards your advantage pool? Because if regardless of either, it is enough that you could potentially have this go towards outlast, and that would advance that. Or if you make it towards the advantage pool, that's 6 going into the pool for you taking 6 scatter.
Okay. And then it would also reduce whatever scatter they have at the same time? Could I do
Yes.
both? Okay.
Yes, this is a lot of scatter you are willing to take on. The big impact spells. This gets shit done.
Yeah. I think I'll do that. I think I'll put it toward our tactics pool because I feel like that makes more sense since
Advantage pool.
advantage pool. I don't know why I keep calling it tactics.
Because I asked you to roll tactics at the beginning, and that
It's
anchored
just
in your
sticking in my mind.
It's sticking.
I feel like
That is
I feel like I would put it toward our advantage pool because Adestia is still focused on supporting what Azir wants to do here, and I think it also makes sense because everybody's replenished.
Guarding.
yes.
Yes.
So, all right. So that is 6 added to your pool because Adestia took 6 scatter for this. That is a big ass spell, but
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah,
Your
so
pool is now 7.
I'm going to say it's like, the plant, like, around the ring, the ring where we have the winds,
Mhm.
our little shield. I say like the grass and the plants around there blooms into a ring that matches that exactly where it is because it's
Awesome.
restoring bloom.
That
I love
is
it.
awesome.
So that's where we are. 1, 2, 3,
Every
4, 5,
every
6.
naturalist in the chat is just going, oh. All the botanists in the back are going, yo.
That's
All right.
that's what I'm doing.
Yep, that is Adestia's turn. Your pool is back up to 7. Who is taking the next turn?
Azura is feeling I mentioned while he had stepped away and that she's feeling very much like the things that she's doing right now are not helpful. And is getting very upset. So I would like to try to add to the advantage pool
Okay.
by using a spell.
Okay. What are you trying to accomplish with this spell? And
So
what is your spell that you are creating?
So she is feeling very frustrated, right? So like she is feeling like she's failing. And while she is understandably not in a place where she would like be the captain of this situation, she still feels like
Mhm.
as a captain, it is her responsibility, right, to help as a part of the team. And so instead of being more proactive and leaderly, which is what she's been trying to do, she's going to take a step back and try to encourage the rest of the party. So she is going to use her personal spell note rallying and the note bark. So like um so like
Azura is
Bark.
the most helpful doggo that has ever
Yes.
existed in giant woman form.
So yeah, absolutely. So bark, yes, absolutely. So in the way that it's like instead of like barking out orders, right? Like which a captain would be doing, it's more like you can do it. I believe in you. We all have a place on this team.
So a soccer mom believing in their kid at a game.
Yeah, like
You
we're
got
not doing
this,
the
honey.
best,
You
but
got this,
it's
honey.
okay.
You got this, honey. I will say you can take either 2 or 3 scatter, depending on how much you want to add to the pool, because I think this is a stepping stone to solving the problem. This feels like it fits that kind of parameter.
So she actually just had her scatter cleared when she used her key foolishness, because that was the last of her motives.
Oh hell yeah. Well
So
done.
she will take 3 scatter.
Okay, that is 3 to the pool. The pool is now a total of 10. So you have 10 successes to pull off of for whatever you want to try and accomplish next, folks, as you are bolstered by soccer mom Azura or doggo Azura. I don't know. Either way, I need to get fan art of this. Somebody talk to me about this. Oh, chat. Why, Gina? Why are you like this? It hurts me because it's probably accurate.
Yeah, no, it's like we all have a place on this team. Is that Azura talking to us or themselves?
Oh.
After
Yes.
after
Oh.
all of those failures, quote
Okay.
unquote.
She writes a box into the bottom that says all of the above.
Oh no.
Next. So Wea or Azir? Who wants to
I
take it
can
first?
go because I think I
Okay.
might be able to help you with my
Okay.
action that I'm going to do. I like to use one of my assist abilities. It's called Herbal Empathy. So from now until the scene ends, I'm able to talk to plants. They have a limited understanding of human thoughts and behaviors, but they notice things that people often fail to see. So, I'd like to talk to one of I think I want to talk to one of the stinging nettles about the environment and about the panther that has recently come through.
I love that. Do you want this to be for your so this is just your ability on top of before you even do the roll.
Oh, snap.
So this is before the roll. So you're just asking them like what's going on, like what's
Yeah,
the
and
deal with this?
I am gaining a blur because of that.
Okay, so you've gained 1 blur for doing this. So
Mhm.
roughly what you get back, because again, the plants don't really. It's because you said it's like it's not strong their communication abilities, right?
No, it is limited. They have a limited understanding of human thoughts or behaviors.
Hold on, I had to just go check up for a moment what a Liam burger looks like. Yep,
They're
that's
huge.
Azura. That looks like the dog from the from what is it? Stand by Me, Chopper, or like how the kids imagine how big Chopper is versus how big Chopper actually is. So what you get back is you get flashes of images. It's almost kind of like it's not really like what they saw, but what they felt.
Mm-hmm.
It's very if you ever watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's the way that
Mhm.
Toph kind of sees the world, where it's almost
Yeah.
like radar giving an impression of it.
Mm-hmm.
You see the panther having moved through the area, but you also notice there's something accompanying it.
Mm-hmm.
There is the humanoid form that both Azura and Azir saw in their flashbacks, the one that seemed to be calling out for Celis, is with the panther being. It's seemingly almost in charge of what's happening.
Okay.
And the little bits that you get seem to suggest that it gives the name Agnes, Agnes, to the panther creature, and the creature seems to respond with limited speech with the name Sarah, Sarah. And you hear roughly the following designation given for Agnes: Aether Guided Necromantic Egress System.
I don't like any of those words.
Mm-mm.
Especially
Could
that
you-
combination of words.
Could you one more time?
Yeah, one more time.
Aether Guided Necromantic Egress System. Which, above table, you would probably get the sense that given the necromantic part of that is probably why Agrippina is not having a good time with it being nearby. It is... the dead are supposed to have a place to be at rest. This thing is not that.
Mm.
And it is so much turmoil happening at any given moment. It's like the plants, if they could shiver, that is the sensation you feel coming from them.
Yeah.
Like, they sense how much emotional duress both of these beings are under. But that is what you get just from your ability, just from spending the blur. So now you have an actual roll to make or spell to cast.
Yeah, so with that, because I got the idea that the panther responds to a name, here's what I would like to propose. Okay.
Mirm did a little giggle. This is gonna be good.
So
there's a
I
cackle.
have skills in long range weapons. What if I strike weapons and I instead yell for Agnes to come here rather than to be over there?
I like the thinking. I will note, Agrippina is at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And you are in the forest.
Yeah.
Do you think your voice can reach a mountain peak?
I would then like to still use this, but one of my spell notes for me personally is erupting.
Okay, now
So
we're
in
talking.
So now I would like to use erupting, and then much like Azura, just use bark as if barking,
Like
you know,
an
not
order
orders, but
or a command.
compliments and all of that in command. I would actually like to use that side of like barking orders to
try and reach out to the being that's near Agrippina.
yes.
So I want to offer this to you as a possibility. One of my spell notes is command.
Mhm.
So if you would like to use one of my spell notes, you would need to take an additional blur.
Blur, but you could
Yeah.
do erupting command.
I
Which
would one up.
I would say-
yeah, I could one up that. One of my spell notes is summon.
Wow. Okay. Abhishek, fuck me, I guess.
Listen, no, because like I didn't remember until you said that. I'm like, wait, I have summon as a spell note. I could totally do that.
You know what? It is doable. You know what? You know what? Here, I'm gonna make this even better. I'm saying the two of you could do a chord together. You could cast a
Whoa.
spell together to try and bring it, to try and call out to it, because you both have the shared knowledge that whatever the fuck this thing is, it being near Agrippina is the worst thing that could be happening right now.
Yeah.
So you would
Erupting
both
summon.
you would both add personal spell notes to the GM's terrain spell note.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you would share the scatter cost, which I'm gonna note is pretty hefty right now, but you did just get
Fair.
a lot of it. I
Yes,
would
we
say
did.
this is solving a large problem outright. This is at minimum 7 scatter to do this.
And we'd share that cost. Okay.
Would
Yes,
we share
you
it? So
split
like
it. You split it however you like,
incredible.
Okay.
I
but
think
it's 7.
I can take
Yeah.
4.
That works either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I know you had more scatter
Now,
than I did.
is this
Yeah.
is this towards a goal? Because if this is towards a goal, which goal is it? Because you're gonna do it no matter what.
Yeah,
Because
you can
this
do
is
any of
strong
them.
enough.
Yeah. I mean, it goes.
I mean,
it can,
it can go with any
is
of
it
them,
only
honestly.
one?
You only get one advance a goal.
Okay.
Because this is basically happening on your turn, Wea.
Yeah.
Is how I'm understanding the rules. If Azir,
Yeah.
if you wanted to do another spell again, Azir would have to do it on his turn.
On my turn, yeah.
And then it would be another thing. Because this is all just for one spell, which one spell per advance a goal or tactics
Right.
pool.
Yeah.
But because it's such a high scatter cost, you don't need to even take from the pool. Like
Right.
this is just an auto success, basically.
Yeah.
We're like, how many into destroy?
2 at the moment.
2.
Two,
And we're
and we
also
need
2
into
and Outlast is 2.
Yeah.
We need
I
5
mean,
more.
We could just, if this is the problem, and if the goal, if Azir was searching to like
Get
destroy
rid
the
of it.
problem,
Get rid of the
this
problem,
is-
yeah. I would
this is-
say.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be my argument for it.
I found the information for Azir, so I'm following Azir as the lead.
Yeah, that would probably then Azir would probably lead you towards destroy.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So then we advance a goal for
Okay.
destroy.
So that puts you at 3 of 5. Holy shit, that is awesome.
No, 3 of
That is
7.
the-
3
3 of
7.
Because
no,
it's
no, no,
destroy.
it's 3 of 5.
It's destroy, is it not?
Destroy 7.
Destroy is 7.
No, folks. No matter what goal you were doing, you need to do it 5 times. The number, the 765 is how many
Yeah.
successes
It's like
you need to
a-
get.
we need to hit a DC 7
DC
5
7,
times.
yeah. There we
Yes.
go. Okay.
Basically.
Okay. I'm
Exactly.
thinking of it.
Gotcha.
That's why Outlast is technically easier to do,
Gotcha.
but it
Right.
doesn't mean that necessarily destroy can't be done. You could still choose to do destroy.
It's just
Yeah.
harder.
It's just harder to do, and it will lead obviously to a different outcome.
Yeah.
You know, this whole system makes so much more sense now.
Yes,
Alrighty,
that's why I've been saying that's like this is out of 5. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
so towards destroy,
3.
if that's the last decision, you are now at 3 advancements of it out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that happening, with essentially what does your combo spell look like? This is just a dual spell cast between you two. What does this look like?
So cool.
So I think the first thing that you notice is there's just like little plants that kind of like grab around Wea's feet. That's the first thing that you notice for me personally. And then my spellcasting is very fiery. So however you want to do that.
I think for Azir's his is like very like there's a lot of like arcane sigils and stuff in the air, like just a lot of arcane energy and sigils like kind of flowing around him. With a little bit of touch from like desert energy because he actually is from the desert originally before he went on his pilgrimage to Agrippina. So
Awesome.
but
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Seeing the tortoise in pain must have been an experience for him. He's like, Hector, no.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
that was another time.
But yeah, so I think
Causing
Wei,
my
you said
players
your spell note is erupting, right?
Yes.
All right,
okay,
and
I
yours
think-
is summon.
Summoning, yeah. So and then we said we were gonna do what, bark, I think you said? Or
Yes. For the
Okay.
environmental spell. Yep.
Okay. So I think from Azir's portion of that at least, there would be like a giant like arcane like desert like gold, almost like golden summoning circle sort of forming on the ground in front of Wea and Azir. Essentially. And I think with if Wea is going to shout, essentially that would be the sort of command to, I guess, summon it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You are everyone in the party is watching, by the way, as you're seeing it's I've been watching Doctor Who clips, so this is why it's on my mind. Like moments where like someone is like flashing into like existence into the current timeline. You're seeing aspects of that, except you're seeing the panther's skeletal structure beginning to appear, which is weird as shit because it's mechanical, but it almost has like a bioorganic component going over it, except the bioorganic is just all ethereal shroud, and it's like roaring, and it's like it's trying to like pull itself away from the sigil. Like you haven't succeeded yet, but it's like becoming anchored to the sigils. Like aspects of it is being pulled away from Agrippina. Like I'd say Azir has the strongest connection to Agrippina, and you're seeing like she is no longer in as much pain. So the storm is starting to calm down because you're reaching closer and closer to the end of the goal. But it is your turn. What are you trying to do?
I think for Azir, I think first off, before he even does a roll, I'm going to use one of my ally abilities, actually.
Awesome.
I'm going to use my ally ability, Soul Gathering. So, for one blur, I can have essentially Mammon go around and keep myself together. So essentially, I get to heal up to scatter from my main pool.
Like you just sort of see him, like your shadow's back, and you just sort of appear. Like I'm hiding my face behind this cover, and you just sort of just appearing like out of the top of it. Ooh, I'm gonna eat good tonight. You just like rubbing his like greedy little hands together. He just like looks more skeletally and bony, but he just sort of goes and he just like lingers kind of near Weya because Weya's receiving like the most of like this scatter happening, and like pulls the essence from them that's being removed and brings it back to you, and it's almost like in the form of like a small roll of like gold coins.
I can see it, yeah.
He's just sort of like I got more stuff, boss.
Good. And it's like, yeah, because you can see like Azir's like has been like desperately concentrating on this too with all the scatter costs he's incurred. So that definitely does aid him.
Yeah, there is definitely like it feels comforting, but in the way that like when you have a really delicious donut and then you feel the donut later, it's that kind of like that was good, but also I don't like it.
It's gonna, yeah, he can already tell it's gonna suck feeling that later on, but right now he's kind of just really trying to push through it at the moment. So
okay, so that was your ally ability. There was the blur.
Yes, that was a blur for me. And then so I think you said at the moment the Panther still like trying to like resist being.
It's trying to. It looks as though like aspects of its form are coming here and being pulled from that area. It's not fully trapped or gone yet.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can. I don't know if I want to use a skill roll for this to see if I can basically reinforce like the spell, or would I have to cast another spell for that?
No. I would say you have the particular bend as an arcanist that a skill works for it.
Okay. In that case, I think given what I have, I'm definitely probably gonna pick spirits as a spell then, most likely as a skill. Sorry.
Okay.
And I think for facet, I'm gonna try to use. I think either understanding or adaptability. I think would be my two.
Right.
Yeah.
Pick
I'd say understanding. Yeah.
Okay, roll that, and this is to advance your goal.
Yeah, I'd say
try and destroy this damn thing.
Yeah, advance destroy. So yeah, let's see what we get here. So.
And you definitely have enough in the pool that could finish this up.
Yeah.
All right. Roll them dice. Let's see what you get.
Actually, wait. Not looking at my key. Can I apply a key here? I'm thinking greed. Because he wants all of it here. He's not settling for half of that.
Solely because you just fed off the scatter of your ally.
Yeah.
Part of the spell is just straight up taking the consciousness of one of your allies.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Wei to start talking again. We're getting a little high. So she's it's okay. Take it.
Right, let me roll these six dice.
Oh, buddy.
Okay. So we got actually a surprisingly decent amount. We got 2 5s.
Okay, that's 2.
2 6s,
That's 4.
a 3, which we're gonna ignore, and
Nope.
then a 1.
1. Okay. You will be subject to its next. It will defer from its current course of action, and it will instead unleash a hostile action towards you instead of its normal course of action.
Okay.
If you take the success.
If I take the success, I'm already at 6 counter. I think I'm gonna refuse, mainly only because I know we have a decent amount of in the advantage pool already.
Okay.
So
you already had 4. So if you add 3 to that, that will put you at 4 of 5 advancements, and it will put the pool at 7.
yeah, that's
Okay,
fine with me. I
folks.
think yeah.
Okay, with that being the case, I believe everyone has taken their turn for this round. So it goes back to the Windstorm. First ability, Scream of the Restless.
Tracks.
This will take 4 from the pool to prevent it. A thunderous wail will echo across the forest. Each ranger must choose 2 facets that they will be unable to roll with until the gale's next turn.
But we get to choose.
You get to choose.
Oh,
Well,
I said 2.
that's
Me.
fine.
That's fine.
I'm
That's
fine.
fine with me.
We're good.
Okay, are you willing to take it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
All right. So, with that being the case, Scream of the Restless, you feel like a wail of dozens of undead souls just echo out across all of the forest. Second is going to be Branch Impact.
Yay.
So let's
Our old friend.
Her old friend.
our old friend. Let's use a D4 for this. See which.
Oh boy.
That's Azura, and that's a Destia.
Whew. Honestly, given how much scatter the Zero and I
really
have,
good.
the
Yeah,
best
like,
possible outcome.
the
The
best
tree
tree
possible
branches
so
outcome.
much.
snap and bend, and both Adestia and Azura, both of you will take 2 scatter, which doesn't really mean that much to Adestia because Adestia can tank a lot.
I mean, again, I can't be forced to take scatter,
That's true.
so I take nothing.
Our forest tank, which is just
Let me make sure that is
and
the word.
sewer.
That's what I wrote down.
Adestia in the Force is a definition of the meme of the doctor with the gun where he's like, I'm a healer, but
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Yeah,
Just-
it literally says while in a forest environment, you cannot be forced to gain scatter.
yeah, so basically only you can cause yourself to gain scatter from spells.
Yes.
That's basically the
So
only way you
this-
can gain scatter, which is funny and impressive as shit.
only you
But-
can take scatter fire.
Only you.
My
And
own
you can
my
prevent
worst enemy is myself.
Your own scatter.
Ow. That hurt me. It's true, but ow. So it is back to the group's turn. So if one of you chooses to advance the goal to finish this thing off, and you succeed, that is the end of the crisis. If someone wants to try and take that plunge.
I think Azir will. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so let's see what I got here. So I think with his last action, he was able to sort of reinforce the spell and keep it here. How's that looking with that added reinforcement?
With the added reinforcement, more aspects of it are being pulled away. It's the equivalent. So this is the most fucked up version of the Dr. Manhattan scene of him reconstituting
Reforming,
his
yeah.
body and everything from Watchmen. You're at the equivalent of like you just had the skeletal system, now you have the skeleton and the nerves and the muscles. You just need the skin equivalent, which is essentially you need to pull the last bit of the shroud back over here, because it's the shroud that's the thing that's affecting Agrippina the most. if you can magically pull that away, you do think that you can
Finish it off.
finish it, and just, at least, if not destroy it entirely, just ensure that this thing cannot escape and get anywhere else.
Okay. Then I think Azir will most likely put one sort of final burst of effort into sort of locking this thing down within the sigil. He'll most likely try to use a skill roll for that, mainly because I don't think I have the scatter to withstand a spell for that.
It's just the most struggling mage you have ever seen, trying to hold a literal manifestation of sorrow and undead necromantic energy.
Do you think you'd be able to if you had a cord? Because I do have, I think, a spell note that might help.
Lay it on me. I might be able to.
I have in my signature spell, my other word is guidance.
Guidance.
Yeah.
Cast guidance.
The only time that spell is actually useful. No. Guidance is useful. The problem is that everyone forgets that it has
other effects.
so many components to it.
Yeah.
It's not like, here, I help you out. It's like straight
It's
up
a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I think depending on what we do, because I think I can take up to 4 scatter before I lose cons. Actually, no, I can take with 3 scatter.
I can take.
That's supposed to be 9.
Yeah, I can take. I mean, I'm honestly okay with passing out and losing consciousness, if I'm being honest. So I can take up to 3. I don't really care.
Let's see then. I mean, Angela, what would you think? How much scatter do you think that would cost to, I guess,
To
fully lock this thing down?
To fully lock this thing down, I'd say you've already made quite a lot of steps to finishing it. I'd probably put this at 6 scatter. So if you split it, it'd be 3 apiece.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I'm done.
If it knocks both of you out, it's oddly fitting for this scenario.
So 3 scatter will put me at 9, so I'll have just enough to remain conscious, but barely.
You'll just be fucking nearly fully dissociated at this point.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And Weya is just straight up unconscious.
Yes.
All right. If that's the case, you have enough in the pool. You can finish to destroy this. Tell me, folks, what does it look like? What does your combined spell look like that just entirely rips this thing apart, or finishes it off, at least, whatever you choose to be your ultimate course of action?
I think Wea's part of this. You know how like when it's the middle of summer and you see that like blurriness from the heat from the ground? I would love to like have the ground have that power from me just emitting from the bottom as that part of guidance to like guide the panther to a place that is different. And to have that like sort of
You're
very
teleporting this thing
yes,
somewhere
the
else.
you're teleporting to the hottest place in the forest, which is our sigil. That's my thing.
All right, Azir, what does your component look like?
So the spell note that Azir is going to contribute to this cord, it is funny because I use summoning to actually fully start the summoning process. I also have the spell note Judgment.
Court summons.
You've been asked to do jury duty in hell.
In hell. So I think he's going to contribute from his personal spell note. He's going to contribute Judgment. And for the terrain spell note, I am going to once again call upon the powers of Root.
Yeah. You all watch the sigils just flare. They start to spin around the creature almost like they're at the speed of like a buzzsaw going. And it's like they split apart into 2 rings of sigils, and as it goes like up and down, and it fully like substantiates like what this thing's form is, you have a vision, Azir, of Agrippina no longer in pain. The windstorm just stops, and you watch as this thing is just now present in front of you. It is locked in place. it cannot leave the sigils right now.
Runic prison. We love it.
It is just rooted there, and it has aspects of the bark that was used as a foundation. It has the roots and the flowers and everything, and it has this. It's almost, it has the like if anyone's ever watched like horror movies and such, where you have the like jittery head kind of effect, where it's just kind of blurring out of place from how fast it's moving. That's the bottom of its body. It's trying to move and it can't do anything. It's just stuck. It's like it's stuck between several different planes of existence and it can't choose which one to go to. All it knows is that it's anchored here. It can't go where it wants to go. That is the end of the crisis, and that is where we're going to take our break. Hell of a good job, everybody. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, because goddamn, that was a good solve. At so much cost to your personal well-being, but holy fuck, well done.
Fine.
We'll see everybody in about 10 minutes. See you real soon, folks. Hello there, lovely beans. Welcome back. Our group, you are joining us as they have just managed to trap an entire horrifying amalgamation of automata and horror that has been causing great spiritual and psychic harm to one of the Daedalists to whom the party has sworn fealty to. So that's impressive. And your GM at this moment is not currently scrambling to figure out what to do next. So basically, it's a day that ends in day. Such is the nature of GMing. You have a plan, you try and follow it roughly, and then your players go smash at your plan, and then you just kind of keep going and see what happens from there. But with that being the case, we plunge back into the scene where, despite all of the chaos that had been happening around them from the windstorm, the group is seeing that the storm is entirely abated. As far as they can tell, there are no immediate wildlife that are threatening any sort of harm. And a chunk of your party is doing relatively fine, but let's start with Azir. Azir, what is your experience of scatter right now? Because you have so much of it. Like, what is... Because it's meant to represent in the system a sense of like dissociation and divorce from your own identity to try and use magic and pull at the threads of reality. What is his experience of it?
I think Azir's sort of experience with scatter, it's really more, it's because Azir's been really good with like being like a sort of bulwark of like, hey, let's be calm, let's be rational. Normally, especially considering he has to deal with Mammon all the time. This is him not really upholding that sort of bulwark anymore, really, honestly. Like, his sort of disassociation due to scatter is him almost actively trying to give into those impulses that Mammon has been so trying to encourage Azir to give into. So he is very it's almost like Azir has become a sort of like, you know, like a con man operates, like is very like a sort of like very like sort of like greasy like very greasy, sinister, like, what can I do, how do I play these people to benefit myself and myself only. That sort of vibe is what you really get out of a scattered Azir.
So for your case, I'll add in that Mammon is just sort of like lurking around. It's like, boss, I love it whenever you get this way. It means I get to be out here and have more fun.
Yeah, but say Mammon would definitely be like actively like leaning over his shoulder and just out and about instead of hiding in his shadow too. So yeah.
It's so nice. Hey, what happened to that one? And he just points over. Wea, you are fully unconscious. Like, you have taken in so much scatter that your sense of self is just gone from your body right now. Like, you would have to take a significant amount of rest in order to recover and be free of it. But so, the party has a trapped being in front of them. It's the equivalent of the was it the 1/5e spell that no one ever fucking uses because the setup for it is impossible. It's like
Hmm.
set a circle, get a celestial or a demon to land in it. Use the words. Make sure it doesn't kill you. Now it's yours. That's effectively what you have in front of you right now. You have a cage for a panther automaton that still has an ethereal shroud around it. And by the way, the tentacles lashing out of it are like flailing in multiple directions, but it cannot seem to actually reach any of you. It's just like hitting the boundaries of whatever this cage is.
Azura is not worried about this creature because Wea is dead. And Azura understands that she's not dead, but in her mind, she has failed Wea so badly that she may as well be dead.
Oh no.
Oh
So
no.
Azura has taken half of her scatter, half of her max scatter. So like the emotional regulation is not there. It's not there. And I think anybody who suffers from ADHD and is non-medicated can kind of understand how the flurry of things that happen in your brain can cause that. And that's what I imagine happens with Azura as she gains more scatter. And so she is already really anxious and depressed and down on herself for feeling like a failure during this combat. And then one of her crewmates is unconscious. So it's just like holding Wea's hand at Wea's side and in like between Azura's two hands and just like petting their hand and just like silently like crying over this what she has seen as a disaster, even though it is over and a success.
Destia, what are you up to in this moment?
That's a good question. I think she's just going to do a real quick check on Wea to make sure that it is just like a scatter situation and not like any like physical injuries or anything like that.
Again, it's not so much that there is any directly like visible physical harm, but I would say given that your particular set of skills deals with like healing to a certain degree, like issues around scatter and handling it, you would have more experience, I'd say, in knowing that there there's no one home right now.
Mm. Yeah, just she was pretty confident that situation, but gotta make sure. Gotta double check.
Yeah. If she's able to get some rest, if they're able to get some rest, pardon, then they will be okay, but it'll take more than a minute for that to happen.
Yeah, okay. Thought so, but gotta double check.
Yeah, and it's the kind of situation where y'all are still out in the middle of the forest, even through all of this, and while there is no active threat from any wildlife right now, a lot of them did get agitated by the windstorm that happened.
Yeah.
So you would need to set up some sort of camp here, and that would require, I would say, a roll in the situation with all the chaos around you. Someone would have to do that. But before getting into that, I also want to ask Azir, what are you doing in this moment, considering you have a caged being right here?
Yeah, so Wei is passed out. Cool. Scattered Azir doesn't really care about that. he is
Naturally.
He really doesn't. Like he is considerably just single-mindedly focusing on the fact that he managed to just trap an entire cage, like this half horror, half automaton panther here. Is like, damn, I knew I was good. I didn't think I was that good though. This is gonna be like
So
really it's like I forgot how really good at magic I am. I was like, and it's like, and
God,
just sort of
so
looking at this
arrogant.
thing, and he's just looking at this thing. I was like, God, this is really really be worth a lot in the right hands. And he just sort of almost like breaking down in his mind, like how to break it down, what sort of knowledge he could gain from it. It's almost like a greed. It's almost both like a greed for money and a greed for knowledge that like is really taking over him. It's sort of why Mammon was drawn to him in the first place.
You know, boss, if you let me talk to a few people, maybe ensorcel them, I could potentially get us more on the deal. Now, I'm not saying it's the most ethically sound thing, but it could get you more. Whether it's knowledge or money, I know both of the things that you like.
How much you talking here? Because a lot can mean a lot of things.
Well, it's like, imagine however much you think you can get. You have that in mind, right?
Yeah.
Double, triple that.
Drive a hard bargain.
Okay, fine. Quadruple. Oh, we're gonna go for quadruple? Oh.
I mean, I was gonna say if you can quadruple, quintuple it, and you got a deal.
Oh, boss, I love it when you start thinking big. It's my favorite aspect of you. That's why I'm here in the first place.
Yeah. Now, do what you gotta do.
So, So do we set it free somewhere? Do we sell it to a sellsword? Do we give it to a monastery? The monastery could probably get us to like ancient texts, which, it's not as lucrative, but it is rarer kind of knowledge to get access to.
Yeah, I mean, rarity is always a good thing. People always, if something's rare, people always come to find you, especially if you're the one holding the key to it. So, I mean.
By the way, you're not hiding this conversation with Mammon.
No,
right?
he's not. This is happening. This is happening out in the open. He does not care to have any of this be subtle or hidden in any way, shape, or form.
So, Adestia and Azura, you just hearing Azir talking about, well, what if we sell this thing?
I think Azura is like, the focus will slowly go from Wea and like, not completely, like still probably holding Wea's hand and like, like stroking it, but probably ventures to like horrified that this is the conversation that's happening. It doesn't say anything. Just gives you like this like
look of like, what is your deal, man?
Yeah. Well, not only for the
yeah.
actual conversation themselves, but the fact that like one of our friends is unconscious. Like, what the hell just happened? Like, your god's up there, and this is what you're talking about? Like, get it to fucking together.
Get it together, man. Get your shit together.
I think Azir just sort of like looks at Azur and is like, he doesn't really say anything, but he sort of gives like a sassy look kind of back to her. Just like this sort of like in sort of response to like your get it together is like it's like a condescending kind of stare almost. Is like that's kind of rich coming from the person who's crying over a person who is simply passed out.
Azura will cry harder.
Well, you know what? I can cry even harder than I did before.
You gotta kick a she-they while they're down, huh?
Capitalism.
Business.
It's like $1 billion.
And I assume Dusty is just like watching this, just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I think she's more concerned with trying to figure out how to get us sheltered up for the night or something. Like trying to decide if we should set up here, if we should set up a little further away from our sigil trapped friend or something. Like that's more what she's concerned with. The practicalities of the situation.
Practicality. That's the thing we concern ourselves with?
Does this look like a ship?
It's the like energy you said that with that was
right.
Amazing. Good lord.
Let's see.
So,
Um,
yeah.
I think eventually Azura will not come to her senses. She's still a scatter. Let's be real. But I think kind of go into that. Okay, we're in a situation sort of mindset, and one of us truly can't help. The one of us is apparently not going to. Like Adestia needs help with managing the situation. Um, so we'll assist Adestia in like, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe this isn't the safest place because we don't know what else this creature is capable of. And we've seen quite a bit. I I dare say we probably should move and camp a little distance away.
I think it would be a good idea. But I also feel I also
Sorry, motorcycle just went roaring right by my
yeah,
apartment.
I saw in my periphery like a lot of movement. I'm like, what happened? Um I feel uncomfortable leaving this thing
I
out
think
of line
there's
of sight
Mhm.
because remember what happened to the last one.
I think there's a medium, right? We could give ourselves some distance so that it's not, if it escapes, it's not immediately upon us, and we can have at least a moment to react, but not so much distance that we can't see it. So give it like some yardage. I don't know what boat distance terms are, but she would use those.
I think yeah, I'd like to set up like, a camp situation to get
Mm.
Waya settled, and then maybe we can understand what it is we've got in our little trap.
I agree. I think not out in the open, it's not going to be the best way for Wea to recover, for any of us to recover, because Azure knows that she's feeling shitty.
So, I'm going to leave it up to a skill roll. Choose your facet and any skills you feel is appropriate. I want one of you to roll to determine the overall success. The lowest level of success will be 1. You'll be fine-ish for the night, but you might have to be on watch. 2 to 3 success, be no need for a watch, but you might need to be mindful every now and then of what is going on with the creature. 4 success will mean both will be entirely fine for the evening.
Okay. Um, would having any assistance modify the roll in any way?
I would say there's not really rules for someone else helping on a skill roll. There's rules for magic casting aid, but not really on a skill roll. So we've entered the area of we're gonna make shit up. So, with that being the case, Azura, if you can reach, I'll put it at a difficulty of 2. If you can reach 2 successes on whatever skill you think is appropriate to try and help Adestia, I will modify the success range for Adestia.
So I think using the facet adaptability, she would try to use tactics.
Okay.
Knowing that she's not she saw in the crisis that survival nautical is not applicable here. Like the knowledge doesn't translate. So I was trying to use different tactics to see how can she adapt to this different environment.
Give it a go. What is
Oh
that face,
no.
Amber?
Oh
Well,
no.
I got 2 successes.
Oh no.
Technically,
Oh no.
Technically.
I got 2 edge successes.
Oh no.
Oh no.
As a reminder, you do still in your pool have 3 rerolls, and 2 auto successes if you want to use those.
Let me use 1 auto success, and I will take 1 edge success because edge successes are fun.
That's valid.
Okay.
2 edge success is a little dangerous.
Yeah, 2 edge successes, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. 1 edge success, I'm like, okay, we'll modify this. I will say you will have a visitor in the morning, and you will be the first one to see them.
Fun.
Will
I
you
love
take that?
guests. I will absolutely.
All right, then.
Oh my goodness.
Adestia, you may roll. I'm going to say with the help that Azura has given you, your success range increases from 4 to 6 will be successes now.
Okay. So any 4s would be a success.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to do adaptability because we are trying to, I feel like you need that to make any sort of shelter in a terrain situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use my survival situation. So that's 4 dice. And nothing applies.
All right. So let's
Watch this
see.
be so bad.
Every single
Okay,
time.
actually that is 3. Actually, that is a 5, 2 4s, and a 1.
So that's 3 successes.
It's 3 successes.
You will be perfectly. Whale will be comfortable. You will have to be mildly on watch a short distance away, but you are set for the evening, and the group will be able to take essentially a full rest without any disturbances
Okay.
for the entire evening.
Yay!
That is her
Nice.
biggest concern here.
Yes.
Nice.
You have set the group up to where they are going to be okay for the whole night. Your skill set has been essential to making sure everyone will be safe. Now, before I immediately go to the next morning, though, I want to
Oh,
offer
yeah.
Azir.
Yes.
Are you up to anything in the evening with our captured friend?
Well, it's funny you say that because I think as outside of being like, I'd assume like the party would have had to like drag Azir to like make camp because he is like very much engrossed in like studying this thing. It's almost like getting like a kid to like do chores, kind of. That's like the sort of mentality they have with like getting Azir to like help. But literally, once they're all done with like dinner and like getting ready to sleep, Azir's not gonna. He might not sleep for a little bit. He's literally going to go back to the sigils where the thing is trapped and just keep studying this thing.
Okay. Then I would like you to roll a skill roll for me.
Okay.
Your understanding and any skills that you feel are relevant.
Understanding. Okay.
I'm going to put this at you need at a medium difficulty of 3 successes to get more information out of this because this is very difficult to try and discern even with your training.
Okay.
It's only because you have the training that you do in the background with Agrippina specifically to understand, to have a chance to understand what the hell is going on with this thing.
Okay.
Get any more info.
Let's see. I think I can argue either focus or I think spirits. Mainly spirits I think would probably be because of the shroud on top of it. So
It depends which would you like to know more about? I'll put it that way. Do you want to know more about the shroud or do you want to know more about the automata?
we'll probably do the let's see. We'll probably do the
say-
shroud, I think. Yeah.
Okay then. Go with spirits.
Alrighty.
So both will apply. You still get only the 1 die, but it'll be different information.
Yeah. Can I use one of my keys for this? I could because I have a key solitude.
You are definitely trying to do this by yourself. Not
Yeah.
for good reasons, but
But
you're
I'm by
definitely
myself.
doing this by yourself.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
All right. 6 dice. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay. It's 3 of them rolled. Okay. That is okay. Darkness. So that is 2 6s, a 2, a 5, and 2 1s.
So you got the 3 successes you needed.
I did.
The main thing you understand with taking time, and I will say this, I will give you more information, but you do not get to sleep. I will give you are going to get information no matter what, but I'm offering you essentially like a bit of a devil's bargain. You will not get to clear your scatter if you do not take the sleep, but I will give you even more information.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's why I offered it, and it's why I
I
offered it to you
know.
because I know how you are as a player.
Yeah. Do I want to subject the party to more scattered Azir? That is the main question. Do I want to subject them
That's
to
that's
more
an
of
above
scattered
table
Azir?
question to ask. Do people want to
Yeah.
deal with
I
scatter
support
Azir?
you. I
Wea
support
is
you.
passed out. Wea doesn't know.
It doesn't know this.
It don't matter.
Zero, what are your thoughts on this?
Zura's a little bit no thoughts head empty. So I don't know that she's concerned about what you're doing. Because she already is like bad juju towards you. And so is like concentrating her efforts to put
Focus on
herself in a positive mindset again by focusing on Wea.
Yeah, that's fair, honestly. You know what? Because I can, I'm going to say yes to that devil's bargain. So I will accept the added information, and I will forfeit my right to sleep this night.
Hey, you will not recover any of the 9 scatter I believe you have.
9, yeah.
Bra's basically ready to pass out. But
He's greedy for a reason.
here's what you were able to determine. Whatever this thing is, nature of the you don't fully understand the technological aspects of it, but you do know what the consequences of the technology are, and it is essentially that whatever technology is involved in this automata, this being, it's essentially acting as a fulcrum to perpetually try and draw in horrors. It is acting as a means to anchor these horrors here, not for study. That much you have is clear. The way it's been done is, I don't want to say haphazard, but it's the difference between someone who it's the difference between a theoretical physicist applying an equation and thinking about the aspects of it versus someone who's trying to create an atom bomb. The reason this thing has been made is for the purposes of war. Whatever it is, this is something that was designed to try and be this way. This is not like by happenstance or an accident. This is a thing that was intentionally designed to be this way. And I would say with pushing yourself and connecting and your body, your sense of consciousness being pulled so far from you throughout all of this experience, you start to feel as a personal drive a longing to return to the being referred to as Sarah. Like you feel a need to go back to whoever that is. And also you start understanding on a very empathetic level the sense of loss that this being has gone through and the sense of desperation that it has to find someone named Celis. Again, you heard that name before in the last war, like flashbacks, but it wasn't it didn't just seem like this was just like someone who it knew. This feels like this is like brothers in blood level of connection. This is like spouse till end of life connection. That's the intensity of the emotions you're feeling coming off of this thing. but strangely, it doesn't feel like it wants to have it. Like it doesn't understand why it feels this way. It just knows that it has to follow this like as a protocol and as a directive. Again, you don't understand the technology forcing it to feel this way, but you do understand from the spiritual aspect, this is not something it wants to feel. It seems to have no real sense of control over it, over the feelings it can experience. But I will say, as the morning comes around, and Azura, as you awaken and begin to get things in order in the camp, you see an individual approaching from the boundaries of the forest. Now, you're fairly certain the being is not human, as wings of purest white and cracked ice appear to be spreading out from its back. The outfit they wear, it's like almost like a watercolor painting of a mountain landscape, like watching like just a distant view picture or a painting of a mountain that has snow that's been set on it. The face seems to be almost mask-like, and like wherever there are features, it almost like they're more akin to someone having drawn features in like snow. Like if you've ever made like snow angels or like just made little designs in the snow, the face seems a lot more like, if there's eyes, they're just like the outlines of what eyes should be.
She will, I'm assuming she's not necessarily taking cover or anything, and probably has propped herself against a tree or something to sleep. Um, with and found a branch, some sort of sizable branch as like a weapon in case she needed it. Um, and will slowly stand up, and grab the branch as she's standing up, and put some close the distance between herself and this creature, but also putting a little distance towards the camp. So if something were to happen, it's not immediately on top of the rest of the crew. And she's just approaching.
Good morning to you.
Is it? Good morning, that is.
That will depend on your answers.
Well, what questions do you have?
I took notice of a being near the summit of the mountain yesterday, near my home, and noticed that it had disappeared almost as quickly as it had appeared. I was curious as to what had caused its disappearance, so I found myself traversing the skyline and finding myself here, seeing some distance away the being's eyes. And again, there's no real like eyeballs. It's more like if someone drew in lines for where the eyeballs should be, just kind of shift. There's no transition between them. There's just, they go from here to then move over. But you can tell that the being is looking in the direction of where the trapped panther creature is. It is a fascinating creature.
Were you here to sell it too? And she'll, Zura will cut her eyes to wherever Azir happens to be at this moment.
Which I'm sure he's probably still looking near at the sigil, still like having, I'm so gone, bro.
Absolutely.
You just see Azir, and it's very clear to you, Azura, I think pretty much to anyone who awakens. He hasn't slept.
That's what that will do to you. She'll point at his ear.
Hmm. He's a curious one.
Which one? Well, I suppose. Yes, they are.
Both of them are, but I'm quite intrigued by the scholar one. Him
Sim-
and his little friend. I normally don't see those of our kind follow by most of you rangers. Well, unless those of you have made some sort of pact or bargain with them.
our kind. Which,
Oh,
and she'll point again over to.
you see the being's eyes dart towards Mammon, who by the way has also just been like reading over Azir's notes and like the most like gargoyle statue-esque pose that an imp like demon can have on someone's shoulders. Oh, the demons. We are not always fond of humans. Well, the daemons certainly are, but I as a demon am not quite as fond of all of you.
Do I, with my skill in spirits, have any idea who or what this being?
You have an idea what this is.
Yeah,
This is a noble demon. This is one of the top tier demons.
S tier demon. Got it.
Yep.
So,
Like the and this given the natural grace with which he refers with such condescension towards Mammon, you get the sense they're quite a powerful one on top of that.
suppose you expect me to kneel now or something, yes?
Oh dear, we haven't discussed terms of what you might do for me, if you're so inclined.
Not interested. Thank you.
Oh,
I have enough beings to deal with. I don't need another one. Especially one that talks in riddles.
riddles are quite one of my favorite things, though. They would keep me entertained.
He seems like he would maybe like that a little bit better. Points back to his ear.
Hmm. You there, sort of calls out to his ear. You are muted, dear.
It's like a hot what, and you could very much tell like there's like bags under his eyes. Eyes are sort of like a little bloodshot, as if like he's been obsessively staring and just not sleeping at all. It's like it sort of turns around, sees the demon.
You know exactly who this is. This is the demon princess who lives in a jade shrine near Agrippina. This is the Countess of the North Face, a very powerful demon.
I think it is there that his face will sort of harden up a little bit, just sort of like recognize as like when he does recognize her, it's like he's also a little bit annoyed that someone did sort of pull him away from like the study of this thing, but yeah, it's like it's a mix of like he looks up annoyed, sees her, goes stone cold. I'm like, Countess.
Well, I'm glad somebody knows about me.
So, what might I ask brought you here all the way down from your royal throne?
Oh, well, I was intrigued to see that something disturbing. Oh, the Holy One up there. And she kind of laughs to herself at the pun she's just kind of made regarding Agrippina's statue. And I was curious as to who had been disturbing that poor wailing crone. And what do I find but a curiously trapped creature. Someone with quite a lot of skill must have been capable of housing this creature here for so long.
You're looking at him.
Hmm. I come to make an offer to you and to your party, should you have interest in it.
I think at this, Azora's gonna go. I think she'd probably already tried to find a way to like get out of this conversation anyway, but we'll take that as an excuse to go get Adestia and Wea if they've not already gotten up and
Hmm. Would you care to hear my offer, dear?
Well, if this thing is of such importance to you, I'd imagine the offer you have is quite big. As
I have
such, I think I might just wait for the rest of my traveling group to come here as well. I feel like they should
Oh.
hear this.
Hmm.
Adestia, Adestia, Wea, come quickly. There's some sort of countess demon outside. It seems to take fondness to his ear. I don't know how I feel about this.
Adestia is like curled up, like if you've ever seen anybody taking like naps with cows, where they have the. That's what she's doing with her Ensor.
Oh, it's so
Aw.
cute.
That's really
Yeah,
adorable.
with like leaning against him, and he's got his head in her lap, that sort of thing. Using
Fully
each other's
squinting.
pillows.
I'm just
Yeah.
like this, like. Yeah, I think I got it. Okay.
He's trying to make a deal with a demon. I don't
Okay,
think this is
maybe he doesn't have it. Let's go.
yeah, I
And then
don't
I
think he's
like
got
grab
it.
Adestia's arm and I'm just like, let's go.
Ugh. Gets dragged there. Ensor, stay there. Alright, what's going on? I'm gonna keep my distance though. I don't
Good
want to be
call.
in melee range.
Good call.
Fair. Good call. Yeah.
Azura will absolutely place herself between Adestia and this countess demoness
Don't stand
person.
in the way.
I vaguely remember casting multiple spells with Azir. So I'm just kind of like standing next to and like diagonally behind Azir. Because I'm like, we did this together. I got you.
He sort of, as seeing that everyone else is gathering, he sort of just turned back to the countess. Well, let's hear it.
I'm curious about this creature and studying it more. Now, I'm certain that the four of you are more than capable of trying to deal with it. But wouldn't it be so much easier on all of your burdens if I were to take this off your hand? And I promise you would not be left without some sort of reward. Especially you. And she sort of just appears in much the same way that Mammon has sort of been leaning over on one shoulder. She sort of does the like
The other
sneaky
shoulder.
advisor kind of over the
Oh
shoulder
god.
thing.
A devil and a devil on each of your shoulders.
Literally.
Correct.
Correct.
Oh, no.
It's just like, just think, dear. I have quite a lot of knowledge, both in my gallery and amidst all of my texts. There's so much you have yet to learn. There's so much you could develop in your skills and in means to acquire. She looks over kind of disparagingly at Mammon in your wealth from learning such knowledge. Of all things, Mammon looks kind of offended at the Countess and is just sort of like looking back at the group like the energy of like, are you seeing this? Are you hearing this shit?
I will say, quite the tempting offer.
And if this creature happens to prove to be something that is better off being shuffled away from its mortal coil, then I will happily handle it for you. Just think of it as a way of getting rid of some of your responsibilities. I simply ask to be able to look into it more.
And that's all. Surely,
That's
with a
all.
price that is that, I'd expect something more in terms of a demand.
You humans may be inclined to such greedy interests and ventures, but I am not so inclined. I have simply my obsessions, and my obsessions are around knowledge. I wish to know. What I do not know, I wish to know more about. When I do not know, it leaves me quite hungry.
Well, I'd rather not have that hunger turned on the lot of us, especially considering who knows when you might find yourself bored of this thing or how quickly. So, give me one moment. And I'll sort of turn around to the others and look at y'all. Well, you heard her. Any thoughts?
Zura has absolutely recoiled at the thought of the way the demon had said, oh, I'll take some of your responsibility off of you. Because Azura very much feels like that like responsibility is her, like theirs to bear. It's like our, we were the ones that captured this. It's not right in her mind to just be like, oh yeah, somebody else's problem now. Like they have a responsibility to make sure that this thing doesn't cause harm. I don't like this. And she'll just kind of point to like the creature and the demoness and then you, Azir. Whatever this little game that the two of you are playing, it's not right.
He sort of gives Azir sort of gives like Azura like a very, it's almost like half intrigued, half like sort of quizzical kind of look. Is like, that's really how you see this. Okay, interesting. But he doesn't really say anything in sort of response to that, and just sort of turns to Adestia and Weya. Thoughts?
I'm not well versed in spirits or demons or knowing things.
Me neither, sister.
I think Azir will also mainly focus on Weya, mainly because Weya had just as much of a part in
Yeah.
trapping this thing as Azir did. So
I am very good at following orders. And so with this, I I don't have an opinion on it. I did pass out, but I'm feeling no draw to this. And honestly, I want to get as far away from that respectfully. Respectfully, parentheses that. Um, because
Do
I
you
do know
do you point at the panther or the countess?
the Countess. Um, because I am like I do have a skill in spirits, so I kind of understand what's going on.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
you have an idea of how this is not a being of
yeah.
good moral bent.
And I'm assuming that the Countess of North Face has been said, and I remember that being one of the obstacles
Yep.
for traversing this mountain. So
Mhm.
if we can bypass the Countess to get to where we need to go, I'd rather that be it. Um, but the creature itself, I have no ties to, personally.
I think Azir will sort of take that that consult in mind before I think turning back to the Countess. All right. I'll agree. However, I'll offer something a little bit to sweeten the deal in exchange for one more favor. Azir will hand over his own notes that he made throughout the night. Consider this a head start on your studies. In exchange, the four of us get free passage up the mountain.
Oh. I do love a man who knows how to make a good deal.
Oh, Azura is red. Like that Azir said, "Yeah, we made a deal," because that is absolutely not what we just said.
Yeah, why don't I also to inspire a certain level of trust for all of you? Why don't I decode some of this creature's tumultuous little thoughts and such for you all? And like snaps her fingers. You all feel a rush again of all the different things that Azir like witnessed and such and went through throughout the night. It is like transplanted directly into your head. It's almost like all the notes have just been like transferred in a split second into your minds, just the content and everything. And I think there is a bent to it that you didn't quite get before. And it's a realization, I think, as all of you go through it again, is that even more than just being feelings, this creature, whatever it is, it's not just holding on to sorrow, loss, to all of these negative emotions, it's holding on to memories. It's holding on to memories of what someone or something experienced directly. Whatever this thing is, whatever it's holding on to, is personally significant to whatever is causing all of this. And I would also say that there are flashes to two other regions as well. One, you see a chaotic whirlpool forming around a small archipelago. The other, I would say, you see a network of lava caves filled with weapon caches. There is a low-domed volcanic mountain range deep within a jungled area. It would seem as though somewhere in the Coral Coast and somewhere in the Altar World, the Altar Islands, something else is brewing. A gift for you all to show that I have the best of intentions.
I have a new deal.
Hmm.
You leave us alone, and we won't destroy everything about you.
Oh, my dear, my dear. This is me showing a kindness. It is best not to upset someone who is being kind to you when they do not have to be.
You do not have to be here. I think it best that you leave.
Well, fair enough. However, I will say, while the rest of you did not make a deal, your friend surely did.
Friend is holding a lot of weight in that sentence.
Azir, was it? Why don't you come with me? I have much to show you.
I think he'll turn back to the others. Well, and they could very much tell, I guess, for those who know that, like, how much Scatter Azir has taken on. He's very much in the throes of it right now.
Wea speaks up, not knowing anything, and just says, I could see the bags under your eyes. And that's all that I need to know, that this is what you want right now. This information and this time. So, thank you for summoning and for your judgment in the last battle.
I should be the one thanking you. Couldn't have done it without you, after all.
Destia, did you have something you wanted to say? You looked like you were about to say something.
Oh, all she's gonna say is like, "You're an adult."
He is, to be fair, yeah. This is a grown man making his own choice.
This is a grown man making his own grown man foolish decisions.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
We're gonna be adding foolishness to the key.
Marked off.
I mean, hey, Adestia has honesty in hers, and you're an adult.
On it. Funny enough, the last key in his thing is loyalty. So
You can have loyalty to yourself.
Yeah, loyalty doesn't mean that you're loyal to something good.
No,
Yeah,
it's
true.
He's loyal to getting
Loyal.
information.
He is loyal
This
to
is a
his,
greedy ass motherfucker when he's
he is
scattered.
loyal to his desires.
Yeah,
He's loyal to money, 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 money.
Ironically, if he did actually mark it off, that would clear all of his scatter and be like, oh shit, what the fuck am I doing?
He's like, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
But so the Countess smiles. She says, given that the entire group of you has not agreed to it, I will at least ensure that this creature does not get loose. Fair enough. I will not investigate it. I will not do anything with it. You have my word.
So, above table, I'm trying to just so that I can figure out Adestia's headspace here. So currently, because it's not a unanimous decision, a unanimous agreement, she can't take our
She
Jaguar
can't take-
statue.
She can't take the Jaguar statue, but she is baiting him because he did say he would do it.
Okay.
He didn't really specify the terms well enough because not everyone agreed. So
Yeah.
he basically agreed to nothing.
Okay.
He agreed for her to do nothing and for him to just go and get knowledge. And she's
Okay.
perfectly willing to indulge him because I would say the fun part of demons, is that they're obsessed with things and she's wondering if she can get even more knowledge if she has a
Okay.
brainiac obsessive nerd like him.
Okay.
Who
But
is also greedy as shit.
yeah. But the part of it that's like that Azir had thrown in about like we can pass through the mountains without being bothered, like that part is already worked out because he gave her his notes. So like that
Yep.
part is okay.
That part you would still get, I'm going to say above table, yes. You would still
Yes.
have access to that
There's
bit.
like separate deals.
Yes. Right now, you just sort of this is not necessarily a repeat of the tortoise situation, and that this one you at least have her word that she will keep it here trapped.
Okay.
But for how long?
Good
And
question.
It could be
is-
10 minutes for all we know.
Exactly. But she has given her word that she will at least watch it for you, and she won't investigate it more. But she did get
Okay.
one of your friends. Well, party members. I'll go with party
Yeah,
member.
party members is a
Yeah.
good word for it. Yeah.
This
Which-
distance acquaintance.
Increasingly distance acquaintance.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure I had it all.
But yes,
Straight.
that is the whole of it.
Okay. Back to
Scene back in.
Scene.
Yeah, you just kind of see
yeah.
her again. This mask snow feature drawn in being with a long flowing outfit that looks like a landscape painting of a mountain with frost and snow on the top of it, and wings of white and blue that look like someone just took snow and made wings, and then certain parts of it look solid like cracked ice.
Okay. Yeah, Destiny does not get mixed up with demons.
Destiny's like, I don't fuck with this.
I don't really fuck with it.
Meanwhile, Azir over there, I fuck with it, I guess.
Literally,
I
like
get
that's
my
how. I mean, he has Mammon to be fair, so I mean, he's already kind of fucked with it.
shit. But she will begin to lead Azir away. I wish you all well on whatever journey you're on. Perhaps I will see you again one day.
And when they're out of sight, Azura will throw up from anxiety.
Valid, honestly.
I rub
What?
your back.
It's hold your hair. It's okay, bestie. It's okay.
Okay, it's okay. Wait, do you have long hair? Do you have short hair in this?
I have half long hair. I have no hair.
I hold
That's
one half
right.
of your head.
You
Hold
hold it to
one, rub with the other.
Yeah.
And
okay.
with that, folks, that is where we will close out session 4 with Memories Forgotten and the end of our guest run with Avishek being here. Our greedy demonic pact making friend here as just you now get to have some house residence and housemating with I'm gonna rephrase that. You get to share residence with the Countess of the North Face, who I want to
The
know.
artist in residence.
Essentially, you're an artist in residence.
Yes,
to
scholar
a
of res-
noble demon who I want to know. Just so our viewers know this as well. That demon is high tier. Like, the difficulty range would have been 8, 9, and 10 minimum to get one advancement on any of those.
Jesus.
And Azura was still ready to beat her ass.
Just like
Beat both of our
I'm
asses,
gonna
honestly, because
fight
I could feel Azura being ready to
she's
not
like got
just,
that she's got that fucking branch in her hand. Like she's gonna
Yeah.
beat you with a stick.
I mean, let's be real. If one scatter would have just KO'd him, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would have.
Look, I wanted to include her because in the playtest document, it is a fascinating like demon description. There's very little there, but I was like, okay, you're not gonna climb the mountain today. Why don't we bring her down and let's see what happens? I know
Might
his
as well.
greedy ass is gonna want something with her. But so thank you everybody for tuning in today for our 4th session. Starting next week, we're going to have Sebastian back, so I am super excited for that. No, Mayor, no. Stop being gay in the chat. You can't get another demonic pact.
I support Mare.
Mayor
rights.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Mayor-
not gonna lie.
Being
Be as gay
gay
as you want, it's
do
pride.
pass.
It's
Okay,
pride.
on that note, folks, I'm gonna go around and let everyone say who they were. And one quick thing to note where we can find you to check in on your stuff. I will start. Hello there, everybody. My name is Angela Lemos Mogrovejo. I use she, they pronouns, and I've been your conductor. You can catch me on Thursdays over on Valdrian's channel, where we've been playing Girl by Moonlight in Daughters of Io, where we're about to go on a rescue mission after just having had a party where everyone kind of let loose. And now it went from, yay, we had some kind of burgeoning gay moments and trans egg cracking, to, oh fuck, we have to go save someone from a terrifying thing that might kill all of us. Sweet! Awesome. So that is me. You can catch us on Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST, 3 p.m. PST over on Valdrian's channel. I will pass it on over to Abhishek.
Hey everybody, my name is Bishop Matange. I use he and pronouns. I have been playing our lovely pact, our lovely demonic pact wielding wailing arcanist Azir. You can find me starting next week back here at Sword and Key for our 4-part Cursed Captains of Cthulhu game. So it'll be from June 8th to June 29th. That'll start next week. So yeah.
Alrighty, we're gonna pass it on over to Amber.
Hi, my name is Amber and I use she, they pronouns, and I have been playing Azura, the title navigator, who also uses she, they pronouns. You can find me at my own Twitch channel at twitch.tv/analog_amber, where next Saturday I will be officially co-streaming both the Wholesome Direct and the Women-Led Games showcases, both celebrating cute, wonderful women-led games and help support indie games.
Fantastic. Passing it over to Mirm.
Hi everybody, my name is Mirm. I use she, they pronouns, and today I played our volcanic tracker, Wea, who uses they, them pronouns. And everything that I'm doing this summer, it hasn't been announced. So I can't say anything. But I'm in a lot of stuff this summer because I felt like I wanted to. I'm gonna be raising money for LGBTQ plus organizations throughout the entire month of June. I'm going to be across like I think 5 different channels this summer, and it's a fall. It's going to be great. But the next thing that's coming up that has already been announced is the 3rd session for my Vildheim series on the Nerds with Dice channel, which will be next week Friday, where I will be playing a bear woman who's 7 feet tall and really muscular. You know, we love big women. Large bear woman. And what more could you want?
On over from large bear woman to the smallest bean in our party, Gena.
Hi, I'm Gena. I've been playing Adestia. Currently all of the stuff I'm in is on a little bit of a hiatus, so if you want to see when my stuff comes back, you can check me out on Blue Sky at Gena Fan. I'm sure it's in the chat. I think chat is this way. I guess if you're gonna be at Draft House at the Daggerheart event on Sunday, I will be there. That's all I got. Possibly
Okay.
accost me in person. Worst way to
Phrasing.
phrase that.
Yeah, I was about to say phrasing.
That's why I said it that way. It's a terrible phrasing.
Hey, I love having you at my table, Gena. Thank you so much. With that, I'm going to pass it on over to Mare for our last little send-off of last little bit of info. So take it away, Mare.
Hello, everybody. I just want to say hello and thank you for joining us for session 4 of Fragments of Loss. I will quickly go over the schedule because holy shit, they just posted the June schedule for Sword and Key and I knew it was going to be packed. But just for reference, we are having streams every day in June except for 5 days. So yeah, if you didn't know yet, we are raising money for Lambda Legal throughout the month of June with a bunch of games for Pride. As part of our regular scheduling, we have Monday's Fragments of Loss, you already know it, at 3 p.m. Pacific. On Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific every week except the 10th, we have our Baldur's Gate night. And on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, we have our Games of Horizons call at 3 p.m. Pacific for all of our stuff regarding Pride. On the 11th and 18th at 4 p.m. Pacific, we have a game called Pride and Wrath, which is a D&D 5e game. That's right, you're in that, Abhishek. On Sundays at, I think that says 3 p.m. Pacific, we have Cursed Captains of Cthulhu. On Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, God, what does that say? Under Blue Moon, Eva, I'm sorry, I couldn't read it. Under Blue Moon Summers. I just lost my tab. On Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific on the 20th and 27th, we have a Good Society game based called The Night Circus, based off the Night Circus book by Erin Morgenstern. If you have not read it, it's phenomenal. Read it. On Saturday, the 21st at 7 p.m. Pacific, we have Unresolved Sapphic Tension, a 2-player game which will be played by LD and Shadow, which chef's kiss, awesome title. We have a Sword and Tea on the 8th. I don't think that is a part of Lambda Legal, but we do have a Sword and Tea coming up. And I think that's in my game, The Devil's Dandy Dogs on the 25th at 4 p.m. Pacific, if you want to be really, really good doggos. And, of course, we have our last 2 Tales of the Loop sessions that unfortunately had to be postponed, but those will be the last 2 Sundays in June. They just posted on Blue Sky, so please go check it out. Anyway, we are going to go raid Roll D5, who is also doing some Pride stuff. So everybody go give them some love. We will see you around, and we'll see you next week. Bye.